Hey folks, welcome back to our continuing coverage here. 2015's NAB show in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am John P.
I'm Giovanni, and I think I may skip this interview and go to the Gopro booth
because
they are going nuts over there. It's like
true.
A frat party over there.
That is true. The Gopro is directly across from the broadcast booth here, and they are, I think they're throwing out T-shirts and just telling people to go crazy.
There is nothing but, there must be 20,000 middle-aged men over there looking for a free camera.
But I have faith that between you and Philip Nelson from
Philip
NewTek,
Nelson,
we will draw our own crowd and we will overpower them.
We will.
Tens of people throwing
That's right.
shirts at us.
Throwing stuff at us.
Tens. There'll be tens of people throwing shirts.
Good
at
to
us.
see you all
How
the way
are
from
you?
Texas.
It's great to be here, and no chairs. You guys spare no expense here at the stage.
We are young and healthy
just
and
messing with
spry. John wanted a chair, but I think that he should lose some weight. So,
ouch.
Here we are. Here we are.
we're going to exercise and talk to some friends here about some really cool stuff.
It's the Geek Fit program
Geek
being implemented on stage. Well, welcome, Philip. You've got new stuff from NewTek.
Yes. Well, here at NAB, we do have a pretty cool announcement. We have debuted and announced the 3-Play Mini.
That looks like a TriCaster Mini to me.
You know, it's the same form factor, but now you add instant replay. I mean, a lot of people, can you imagine watching a slam dunk contest without instant replay? You know?
I could not
Jill,
imagine.
let's just put that right back here.
You know, anytime, any sports broadcast, replay is a pivotal piece of that. And so what we try to do with all the NewTek technology is we try to empower people to do things they normally couldn't afford to do. High-end instant replay that you would see in a TV truck can be $250,000.
Wow.
Most high schools don't have that kind of dough.
You don't think?
No. Most colleges don't have that kind of dough.
We don't have that kind of dough.
But the 3-Play Mini actually is a 4-channel HDMI replay system, and it retails for under 10 grand.
Wow.
So if you have a TriCaster Mini.
It's a full TriCaster.
No, this is not a TriCaster at all.
It's just a replay system.
It is an instant replay system.
Then how do I hook it to my TriCaster Mini?
Well, if you have a TriCaster Mini, it supports IVGA.
Okay.
So I could, in my Ethernet out, I could bring in the replays from this into the TriCaster Mini through Ethernet. Or if I want to integrate this into a traditional, broadcast center, I could just take an HDMI out and take that in as a source into my switcher.
Why does it have 4 HDMI video inputs?
Well, it's a multi-camera instant replay.
So you could
So
have
like,
4
let's say
cameras go in and record all 4 of them simultaneously?
Yes, and you can, so like what you can do in this system, you could have 4 camera angles of your event. And let's say there's a controversial call and did he step out of bounds?
And we want to make fun of the ref or the umpire or the whatever it is.
You want to make fun of the ref?
Yeah.
You could actually, it's recording synchronized 4 channels at one time. And then when I go back and I'm marking the clips as the game goes on, and I can say bad calls by the ref, search for bad calls by the ref.
Really?
And bring it does an instant highlight reel, and while it's playing, I can switch camera angles for that clip as it plays back.
And then we take this and feed it into our other TriCaster into like a video 1 input or whatever.
Or you do it through Ethernet so it doesn't take up one of your live video sources. If you have a TriCaster, you can go through Ethernet, and that's one of your network inputs instead of it being one of your live camera inputs.
Okay, let me get this straight because this is totally new and I don't understand how it works.
Okay.
I'm not Ken the engineer. So let's pretend that I have a 4 camera setup. I've got a sporting event going on. It's bowling.
You know what? Bowling
can be
you
exciting.
want to replay to see if they cross the line.
You do. So I got 4 cameras set up on the bowling lane, okay?
Okay.
And I usually would have had my TriCaster Mini with me, and the 4 cameras would go into my TriCaster Mini.
Right.
But in this case, how do I get both of them? How do I get the cameras into both things? Do I need to like use a splitter or
a DA? You could have a little box that
or like a little black
you-
magic box?
Yeah.
And like take them in and then
you just take one HDMI in and it splits it out to 2.
So I send it to both.
Yeah.
And we're good. And so then I do all my. Okay, talk more about how you were scrubbing through in real time and marking things. How does that work?
I don't have it set up here because this is, of course, not plugged in.
Should we act it out? Would you like us to
playing the part of the TriCast, I mean the 3-play mini
You can be the
control
ref.
surface.
You'll be the ref. I'll be the bowler.
But this actually, your control surface is on a tablet. So you have a little tablet, and you have a play, jog type shuttle, mark in, mark out, and all your controls. You can also use a keyboard and mouse, but you could sit here and control the 3-play mini through an iPad.
So would I have like one person who was sitting there watching the game, and let's say right before, since it's bowling, right? Right before the guy's sitting there and he's doing this, we mark it in, and then he goes and he rolls it, and then we, as soon as it strikes, he marks it out, and then we say.
You could do that, or you could just mark the out point. So in a sporting event, you never know when the start is going to be.
Yeah, you don't.
So basically, you end up marking your out points. So touchdown, mark out. A catch, mark out.
And so then
it just back times
if there was
a certain amount of time.
If there was a touchdown and you hit mark out, you would put third touchdown or something.
Or you just type touchdown.
Touchdown.
But there's actually keyboard shortcuts to auto tag stuff. So I could just say tag. You could, like, one of the examples is we have it set up where the first tag is the player's number. So number 11. And then it advances to the next qualifier. It's like catch, touchdown, and you start marking. And so at the end, I can say, I want every catch by number 11. I want every touchdown by number, 63. So a lineman scores.
Yeah.
But
right.
But anyway,
it could happen.
But what's great is, like, at the end of the game, you know how at the stadiums at halftime they show big plays of the half. This allows you to just do that very quickly, very easily, and at a fraction of the cost that it's ever been available for.
So when you said that we mark it, you hit your mark, your out mark, and then it pulls back a certain amount of time. So I assume you choose if it's 15 seconds, 20 seconds.
Yeah,
and then it auto creates that highlight reel for you if you want it to?
Yeah, so there's a couple of ways you could do the workflow. There's the mark out with the auto endpoint. But let's say it was a long play. You just go back to that and you can rewind a little bit and say, that's my new endpoint.
Gotcha.
So you can make total dynamic adjustments. You can make it play full speed until right before the hit, and then slow it down 50% so you see the impact. It really adds a dynamic element to any sporting event. Is a large use of this.
Yeah.
But we've also seen people that just use this as a 4-camera synced recorder, where they just want to go in and plug in 4 cameras and record 4 cameras, and then maybe go back in and maybe switch it later. So it's like archiving it. And you could do that with a TriCaster. You can record your 4 channels or 8 channels depending on the version you have. But this is a dedicated, very robust instant replay system. Like I said, the high-end systems can be
for
$100,000, $200,000, and this is
it's
under
5
10.
to 10% of what those things cost,
and
it'll fit in your backpack.
It will fit in your backpack.
By the way, can we mount it in a rack if we want to leave it in there permanently with our TriCaster?
I've seen
or what?
people that have done some mounting, but this one is so portable. If you want a rack mountable replay system, we have a big brother to this that is a rack mountable 4-channel HD SDI replay system. But this is for somebody that needs ultra portability, very affordable, easy to use, high definition instant replay.
Nice. And when are they available?
Very soon.
That was very non-committal.
Wow.
That was very non-committal. This is the Geek Beat show, okay? We deal in facts.
somewhere between the first half of this year and the first half of next year.
Actually, it's shipping very, very,
really?
very soon.
All
Yes,
right.
That's what I'm going
Excellent.
to give you.
Okay.
All right,
That's
cool.
my.
appreciate
So how far does the workflow go on that? I mean, are you able to add soundtracks? And let's say
Yes.
I've got Philip Nelson's greatest hits. Can I load that in there?
All one of them?
Oh, both of them. So can you take it to that extent?
Yeah,
and,
you
and
can
actually add
you can
do
add,
some light
yeah, you
editing?
can even do some transitions.
Okay.
So in the interface at the top you have all your screens, and then you have your marked clips and all the camera angles, and at the bottom is your playlists, and you can actually create multiple types of playlists. Add in some transitions and tweak a little bit, so that when you send this out to air, it's almost a finished package to go out and do a highlight reel
Very
or
nice.
a melt reel, as they call it in some trucks.
I don't
They
run with
melt
those
it all
people.
together.
Nice.
I do not run with that crowd. I'm DSLRs and GoPros is all I got.
Nice. Well, Philip, thank you so much for coming and showing off the new 3-play mini.
I'm happy to be here.
You
It's
look
good to
fantastic.
see you guys. Appreciate
And
you
very
guys.
handsome
we're going to
man.
look forward to having you come back on the show tomorrow
Yes.
for a totally different kind of special entertainment related thing.
Are we juggling tomorrow?
He's going to play
No
some
comment.
music for us.
All right.
He's going to play some
I did
music.
bring my guitar, so there will be tunes as NAB closes
Fantastic.
tomorrow.
Nice.
I think
Okay.
tonight we should go see Brian Shell.
I think so. I think so.
I hear he is the funniest man in Vegas.
I do too. You guys, thank you so much for sticking around for all of our continuing coverage here throughout the NAB show at 2015.
I never say anything at the end of
It's
these.
just good. So don't
Thank
go
y'all.
anywhere because we got more coming up.